Everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today's review, we're going to take a look at the new DC Collectibles 7-inch scale DC Comics Designer Series Greg Capullo 0-Year Batman figure. Now this figure is part of the third wave of Greg Capullo figures from DC Collectibles. It comes in the same kind of stylized window box packaging that we've seen with the other figures. You've got white and gray borders. The figure's clearly displayed in the window box packaging so you can see what you're getting. And then you have the DC Comics Designer Series logo with Greg Capullo's name down at the bottom. On the side you have the name of the character, and it tells us that this is number 9. This is the 9th figure to be released in the series. On the side of the packaging we have some artwork by Greg Capullo showing the 0-Year Batman. And then on the back we have a look at all 4 figures in this third wave. 0-Year Batman, Two-Face, Commissioner Gordon, and Batgirl. And all but Two-Face have been released and are available at comic and specialty shops, and Two-Face should be out soon. Okay, so let's get this figure open and take a look at what's inside. So here's a look at the figure outside of the packaging, and for the most part I think DC Collectibles has done a nice job with capturing that overall look and feel of the 0-Year Batman by Greg Capullo as he appeared in the comic books. I really like the head sculpt on this figure. I think they've done a nice job with that. The skin tones are pretty decent. I like the ears and how they look on this figure. They're nice and pointy at the tips. He's got that more old style looking bat symbol on his chest. His costume is basic gray, and then he's got the black striping down the side of the costume, and he's got the grooves there to give it added texture, which is nice. He's got the belt with the pouches on the side. The first 2 pouches are done in yellow with a nice wash, as well as that belt buckle, which I guess is supposed to be some kind of mask or something. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what it looks like. And then he's got darker colored pouches that go all the way around the back of the figure. So again, nice detailing there. Now I don't really like how on the front of the belt though, near the buckle and between the 2 yellow pouches, where the color of the belt is basically the exact same color as his shirt and pants. I don't know if that's how it is in the comic books or not, but I think it would have looked better if the belt was a little bit darker color there than being the exact same color. He's got a holster on his right leg, which is glued on. It's a separate piece and it's glued on, and it holds his grapple gun, which is removable, and we'll look at that closer in a minute. I will note that because it's glued on there, you want to be careful and not pull on it too hard or push on it too hard when you're putting the gun in, because you could, pull that off by accident if you did. I haven't had any problems, but it's just something I would use caution with when you're using it. He's got a cape, which is that same kind of vinyl material like we always see with the DC Collectibles figures, and it's got the kind of split down the middle, and it's got it's done in a way where it's not too encompassing of the figure, kind of like for flight poses when he's swinging around on his batarang or something. So overall I like the look of that. And then he's got the purple gloves, which to me are kind of silly looking, but at the same time I believe this is kind of like a throwback to the original Bob Kane designs of Batman. I believe when Batman first appeared, he did actually have purple gloves for some reason, and so I think that's kind of a throwback in tribute to that. And then I also really like the detail on the boots for this figure. He's got some really, you can see his laces sculpted on the boots and everything, so I think that came out looking nice, and he's got treads on the bottom, which all look really good. Okay, so the figure comes with a number of accessories. He comes with 2 little batarangs, similar to what we saw with the Batgirl in this third wave, as well as the first Greg Capullo Batman in the first wave, though they're not as detailed as the ones in the first wave, and they're very much look like the designs of the one that the Batgirl figure comes with. And he comes with 2 of these. He also comes, as I mentioned before, he comes with that grapple gun, and it's just a gray color with a yellow on the handle, and it's got some little wedges sculpted on the handle. So overall pretty nice detail and pretty true to what we see in the comic books. And again, this is like one of his first versions of the grapple gun, so it's kind of big and clunky looking, and it fits tightly in that holster on his leg. Now the figure, when you take it out of the packaging, has 2 closed fists, so he can't hold anything with these hands. However, they've also included an extra right hand, which is sculpted open to hold that grapple gun. And basically the hands are just attached with ball joints, so you can just pop it off and then pop on the new hand. And you gotta kind of push hard to get it to snap in there. But once you have it in there, then he can hold his grapple gun. Now the plastic on the hands are pretty tight, so you kind of have to, you kind of want to wedge the fingers back a little bit, and then you can just slide the gun in there, and then he holds, he holds the gun nice and tight. Now I do want to note that you can also kind of slip the batarangs into this hand, but he's not going to hold because the hand is sculpted open enough to hold that grapple gun. He's not going to really hold the batarangs very well. You can kind of wedge it in between his fingers and his thumb to get him to hold it, but he's still going to hold it pretty loose. And probably the more that you have him holding that grapple gun and the looser the plastic on the hand's going to get, probably the harder it is for him to hold those little tiny batarangs. This figure stands at just about 7 inches exactly. He is a little bit taller than the Greg Capullo Batman from the first wave of this line, but that's mainly because he's got larger ears on this version of the costume than on the more modern Batman figure. Otherwise, for the most part, they're about the same height. So overall, I would say scale is pretty good with this figure. Articulation on this figure is pretty nice as well. The head is on a ball joint, so he's got good rotation, and he also has pretty good up and down movement. The arms are on your standard ball hinge joints, so he can get his arms out pretty good, and he's got good rotation there at the arm. He does have a bicep swivel. He's got a single jointed elbow, so he can bend his elbow about that much. And then he's got the swivels at the wrist, but no up or down movement at the wrist. He does have a midsection joint, so he's got a little bit of a crunch there. Actually, he's got pretty good crunch, so he can bend over pretty good at the ab section. And then he can look up about that much. He's also got a rotation at the waist. Legs are on those ball joints. Now, it's not the clear plastic joint, so you shouldn't hopefully have that much problem with breakage there. But I would be a little careful when you're trying to get him to do the splits and stuff. The joints are a little bit tight on mine, so that's about as much as I'm going to push the legs out on this one. You could probably get a little bit further if you wanted to. He's got the thigh swivel, and then he can get his leg forward about that much, and back about that much. He's got a single hinged knee, so he can bend his knee about that much, and then he does have the ankle pivots and the up and down movement there, and then one peg hole on the bottom of his foot. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, this is a really nice figure. It's got strong paint apps, good articulation, nice accessories, just overall a really nice looking figure. So definitely, if you're a fan of this 0-year costume, I think you'll definitely want to pick this one up. Or if you're just a Batman figure fan in general, I think this is one you'll definitely want to add to your collection. This figure is hitting comic and specialty shops now, so if you want to add him to your collection, start checking your favorite comic book store. And that's my review. Please leave a comment, let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. And until next time, I'll catch you later.